Have you ever felt like you're just running on a script that you didn't even write? Repeating the same self-destructive patterns over and over, stuck in a loop you just can't seem to break. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful way of looking at all this. It's all about shifting from being a victim of your past to becoming the programmer of your own soul. And we do that by finding what we'll call your original line of code.
This quote right here from author and trauma decoder B.J. Easis. This is our starting point. This idea of trauma as a program, that's the key. Because if it's a program, that means it can be understood, it can be debugged, and yeah, it can absolutely be rewritten. So, let's start by looking at what it actually feels like to be running on this faulty code.
So, what does it feel like? Well, it's that ghost in the machine, isn't it? That nagging feeling that you're being controlled by some invisible script. You're trapped in these cycles of self-sabotage or anxiety or just this emotional numbness. It's like your entire operating system is just stuck on red alert, 24/7.
And what's really wild is how we just normalize this stuff. We call it adulting or, being responsible. But this constant state of high alert, that's just survival mode. And it's a trap. It's designed to keep you so distracted and exhausted just trying to get by that you never have the energy to fight for the life your soul is actually craving. It's like a piece of social malware, really, designed to keep you from your own power.
And this is basically how that program gets burned into our hard drive. Repeated stress literally rewires our brain. It kicks off with that negative self-talk, right? That I can't. That leads to us avoiding challenges, maybe procrastinating. Then that avoidance creates constant stress. And to cope with all that stress, we just numb ourselves out. We detach. And see, this cycle just reinforces itself over and over again until fear is dictating your every move, trapping you right where you are.
So, how in the world do we start to debug this mess? The very first step is something we're going to call a shadow audit. And listen, here's the absolute key. You cannot see the program while you're running it. You just can't. You have to step outside of it and become an observer of your own machine.
And this is where the real work starts. A great way to begin is with a code-breaking journal, just a place to track your triggers and your automatic reactions. Then, in those quiet moments, you have to ask the hard questions. What patterns keep showing up in my life? Why does chaos seem to follow me around? You're basically a detective, tracing your current behaviors all the way back to where they started. This is exactly how you begin to find that original line of code.
And this just illustrates it perfectly in such a visceral way. For B. Jesus, the code was written in a single horrific moment. Boom. This one event programmed years and years of pain, of fear, of destructive behavior. It became the central processing unit for his entire trauma. So the question becomes, what was your moment?
But here's where it gets even deeper. What if that moment wasn't even in your lifetime? What if the program you're running isn't even yours? The next part of our audit is to investigate the software we might have inherited and the survival tactics we built on top of it.
This idea of inherited energy is just, wow, it's profound. It suggests that patterns of anxiety, of depression, they can be passed down almost like a cursed inheritance. You could be running a program that's been in your family's operating system for generations. This is where you can do some generational mapping. Look at the lives of your parents, your grandparents, and see if you can spot those repeating mind traps.
And often these personal programs are running inside a much larger systemic one. The sources call this a psychological plantation, which describes environments that are literally engineered to mass-produce trauma. Constant stress, abuse, lack of resources, it's all designed to keep entire communities locked in that same survival mode we were just talking about.
So, in response to all of this, the personal trauma, the inherited stuff, the environmental stress, we build armor. We have to. We create these survival tactics. So you got to ask yourself, what's your armor? Is it pushing people away? Is it becoming the aggressor so no one can hurt you? Is it constantly seeking validation from others? This armor is the aftermath of the trauma. It's the custom program you wrote to protect yourself.
And right here, this is the turning point. This is the big aha moment. That armor, that program that was absolutely necessary to keep you alive back then, it's become outdated software. In fact, it's now the very thing that's blocking you from healing, from connecting with people, from evolving into who you're supposed to be. Okay, so once you have that realization that your armor is obsolete, how do you actually take it off? Well, this brings us to the core technique for debugging your code. It's all about becoming the watcher. It's about learning to separate your true self from your pain. Spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle has a name for this thing. He calls it the pain body. And here's the thing you have to get. It's not you. It's a field of trapped energy from the past that literally lives inside you. And it feeds on negative thoughts, on those repetitive mental stories, like old gramophone records just playing the same sad song for years and years. The key isn't to fight it. The key is to observe it, to watch it without becoming it.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly. It's the whole shift in perspective. You move from being the thinker, totally lost in all the noise, to being the watcher of the thoughts. You shift from identifying with the pain body to just resting in presence. From the ego to your true self. From being trapped in the past to living in the power of now. This is the fundamental switch from being controlled by the program to becoming the conscious programmer of your own mind.
And once you can see the code clearly, without getting lost in it, that's when you gain the power to rewrite it. This final phase, this is all about agency. It's about transformation, and it's about consciously, intentionally building your new reality.
This is you taking control of the circuitry. And make no mistake, alignment isn't some luxury feel-good activity. It's warfare. It's an active war against the old programming. It requires serious intention. You have to start thinking like a general and acting like a revolutionary, consciously choosing new thoughts and new actions that build new pathways in your brain.
But, and this is so important, this isn't a war against yourself. You can't win by trying to destroy your shadow, your pain, your anger, all those triggers. The real power, the ultimate power, comes from understanding its language. It comes from knowing how it tried to protect you, and then integrating it with compassion.
Look, this journey requires sacrifice. There's no way around it. The old self, the one running on those outdated survival tactics, that part has to be lovingly released. You have to let that part of you die so a stronger, more authentic version of you can be born. You have to become both the warrior, fighting for your future, and the student, constantly learning about your own inner world. So, when it's all said and done, it comes down to this one simple truth. You are not the code. You are not your trauma. You are the programmer. The keyboard is in your hands. The choice is yours. So what new reality will you start building for yourself right now?